And we're back.
And we're back. Welcome back, everyone. Let's just start all over again. It's Thursday night, November 21st, 2019. You thought my AOL was bad. Oh, boy. Welcome back to Teal Town After Dark. This is your live and interactive Sharks post-game show. And trust me, boy, howdy was it interactive, telling everybody about my wonderful internet. If you still want to be a part of the show, do us a favor. Use the super chat function on the page or the app where you're watching this. And, of course, hit us up on the social media, on all the Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. We thank over the 1,832 subscribers on hand for tonight. Joined by Ian Blogs Hockey on the Twitter machine. Ian, thank you for putting up with this. I appreciate it.
I live to do this, so it's fine. I mean, I would talk to nobody if there was a stream to do it on.
Yeah. And a good stream, not a nice, good, solid stream, right? All right. So let's get into this, shall we? Let's try this again. We'll start from the top. No hurdle. Goodrow's going to center Marleau and Meyer tonight. You're going with 7 defensemen, which I haven't seen in quite some time. The Sharks only have one regular season win in Las Vegas. So let's get at it. Always the concern, Ian, the first 5 minutes when Vegas, just jumps all over.
I literally live in the middle of nowhere. Like, I live in the Sioux. If you look on like a map, there's like Toronto over here and like Winnipeg way the hell over here, and I'm just kind of in the middle somewhere. Like, I'm in the middle of the Great Lakes. Like, if you see where like the Great Lakes kind of dip, like Lake Huron and Lake Superior kind of dip in, that's where I am, in the middle of bloody nowhere.
Yeah.
So no, I definitely not on any Winnipeg Wi-Fi. If I was, that would be a feat.
Especially coming from Ontario, that'd be great.
Yeah.
So Couture takes a tripping call at 8:32. You weren't a fan of it.
Nope.
And like you said before, everything decided to go AOL on me, like it probably is right now. I think my thing is frozen as we speak. Okay. We saw Couture tripping. Dell makes a crazy save, like nearly 12 minutes into the first period. Suomela scores to make it 1-0 around the 14-minute mark. Vegas challenges it. What did you think of that call?
So yeah, like I said before, that if I'm Gerard Gallant, I make that challenge every time, because I feel like if you watch games across the league, anytime a player gets pushed into it's very rare that they'll turn around and say, well, this guy was pushed in. Like, you have to like jump on their back, saddle them up, and like ride them over top of the goaltender for them not to call that goaltender interference. Unfortunately, very high percentage play there by Gerard Gallant, and it paid off for him because the NHL generally calls it that way every time.
Yeah, and while I have an issue about Merrill kind of pushing Timo Meier in a little bit, I thought that was more blatant than the one that Couture didn't get in Game 2 in last year's playoffs. So 18:22 at the mark, I think we saw Curtis Pachelka tweet out, freaking the Sharks were getting outshot 12-1 over a 12-minute span. I'm sure Ryan Reeves had a huge effort in that sense, right?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, he was the 3rd star of the game, so
yes.
He must have.
Well, the 3-star. I mean, this is ridiculous. You know what? This reminds me of we were saying this while we were getting the stream back together. This reminds me of back in the day. There was a Flyers Capitals game, and Ray Emery had like a .7 something save percentage, but he went across the ice to assault Braden Holtby. And because of that, he got the third star of the game by one of the Philly beat writers. I think he's a TSN guy now. And it was just the most ridiculous thing ever. I mean, I appreciate the troll job here because I think, that obviously is one of these things where this is just going to make Sharks fans pretty angry considering Aaron Dell had one hell of a game. But you know what? I admire the troll job here, but it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
It's just, I mean, it's not even Bob Airy getting third star in Game 7, 94 against Detroit when Jamie Baker scored his goal. But I digress. The shots, 14-6 in favor of Vegas after one period. Faceoffs were pretty even. Vegas was 0-4 on their lone power play of the period. Second period, Timo Meier with a nice break, great power move to make it 1-0 on his 6th of the season from Gambrell. What did you take from that?
Strong game for Gambrell for starters. I thought, look at the Sharks were missing Hertl. Hertl's one of the biggest engines on this team. The team, generally, as Hertl goes, the team generally goes. So that was one reason I was really nervous about this game going into it. But, they looked for a lot of guys to really step up and play, to really pitch in and play a harder game. I really liked the game. Like Barclay Goodrow as the second line center, I thought was an absolute joke when I read that earlier today. And, Barclay Goodrow had a hell of a game. Dylan Gambrell had a hell of a game. Like the Sharks got good games from people that you expect to get good games from, but they also got, I thought better performances from guys that are usually a little more unheralded. I thought, this was a really strong game for Gambrell.
And his game has progressively gotten better over time. Super chat donation. Thank you, Skylar. Appreciate it. I'm sure the money will be going to finding a new internet provider. But Melker Carlson took to me, I thought it was interference from Ryan Reeves. So I guess that's how you get your third star again. You take cheap shots after the puck has been played. He's been diagnosed with a concussion.
Vegas is the new Philly. Like they aren't are they not? Like where they're the new Philly. Like Vegas is like Philadelphia West, where you get guys that just take runs at people and they love it and they think it's the greatest thing because it's old time hockey. Blah blah blah. I saw in the chat someone saying that Brody laughed when he read that Ryan Reeves was the third star. I wish we were live when I found that out because it was hysterical laughter from this microphone. Hysterical. That's like I had to hilarious. Compose myself before we went live again because I thought it was that funny.
I mean, seriously. So a guy gets a concussion, we'll give him a third star. Bravo, Vegas. Way to stay classy, continue on, Shimmick before he gets hurt with his lower body injury. That was the other part from Skylar putting that out there. He breaks up a diving play to break up a golden chance for Pacioretty to walk in all alone on Dell. Overall, Ian, tonight, the defense played really good. Dell made some key saves as well.
Dell made some, I thought a lot of Dell's bigger saves were at the end of the, in the third period. I thought he made a lot of the big, holy hell, what the hell was that saves. I agree. I thought the Sharks, despite getting outshot, despite the fact that Vegas did control stretches of this game, the Sharks really kind of forced Vegas to kind of play like they do sometimes when they're running up the score, but not really playing, running up the shots, but not really playing great. A lot of the shots Dell saved were from the outside. The Vegas did have some good chances, don't get me wrong, but a lot of those shots were harmless shots that, a goalie should save. And Aaron Dell, thank God, was up to the task tonight.
Can I just interject for a moment, guys?
Sure.
That is the disembodied voice of AJ Strong, by the way.
38 saves, 39 shots, no star. Thank you.
Oh yeah, because I mean, I guess in Vegas that
Did
means
he
when
concuss anybody?
yeah,
No.
exactly. Mic drop on that. Boom. But I mean, Aaron Dell definitely making his case to have more chances. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, and something else if I can go on for a second here on Dell. The thing I really liked, like, because Dell, a lot of the criticism of Dell is that he's too aggressive sometimes, which he is. Like he has some Artris Urbier and jaunts out to play the puck that terrify me every time. But the one thing that I really liked about his play tonight, and I tweeted this out tonight, was especially on one of those penalty kills where Vegas was really controlling the puck in the zone, really trying to put traffic in front of him. He was at the tip of his crease, fighting for vision and, cutting down the angles where I feel like a lot of the times, not to turn this into a Jones running over, but you see I think that's my big criticism of Dell a lot is like that Dell isn't or that of Jones, sorry, is that he isn't aggressive enough. Like I really like the way that Dell was aggressive, but not overly aggressive. Like I thought, he came out to the tip of the blue, cut down the angles, played aggressively, trying to get the vision on the puck and not, at this point, I don't know why either goalie would expect the defense to do it for them. So he went out there and he made sure that he could see where the puck was coming from. And I think, that was a big reason why I think the Sharks had success, especially in goal tonight, because Aaron Dell worked for it. Yeah. And I think that, I feel like by contrast, and again, I don't want to turn this into like, let's run over Martin Jones, but I don't feel like we've seen that enough of Martin Jones this year.
David H., do you think Dell gets the nod going forward, play the hot hand? I mean, I think that's what DeBoer was doing with Jones on that 6-game winning streak. It was just keep rolling with it. So per Kevin Kurz, friend of the show from The Athletic, Melker hurt from the Reeves hit. Shimmick is a lower body injury. I didn't see Shimmick get hurt.
I didn't see the play, no, neither did I. I just realized that I hadn't seen him in a while, and then I kind of scrolled through Twitter, and then I read that he was on the bench. I didn't see what happened, unfortunately.
Yeah, and we're speculating that knee again, and I wonder if you wonder if they kind of rushed it a little bit, and now afterwards it's really getting back to hurting them again.
I don't know. I mean,
you just hope
I thought
that
he took I thought he took pretty significant amount of time coming back. I'm not a doctor. I don't even play one on this podcast. But like, I don't know. I felt like the timeline for him to come back was fine. I don't think he was rushed back. Now again, I'm not a doctor, but he was gone for a long time. Like, I don't know. I'd be really careful saying they rushed him back because I don't feel like the timeline would coexist with that.
Per our buddy Pashelka from the room, Shimmick's injury is lower body. Sounds like Melker Karlsson was injured after the hit by Ryan Reeves. And if you remember that call on Ryan Reeves with the Melker Karlsson hit, our illustrious announcers said that was borderline interference.
Yeah, it was late.
I'm sure Rafi would have gotten 41 games for it. But it's like you gotta call it even right there, and unfortunately it doesn't, and might hurt the Sharks now going forward. So before we continue on with this summary, Ian, who's next guy up? You bring back Noah Gregor? Do you try somebody else?
If Shimmick's hurt, you're going to need a D, right? So I guess Tim Heed continues to play. But then you're going to need a forward because obviously Reid did play tonight. So they were, 13 forwards? What were they? 12 forwards? 11 forwards? I don't even know. 11 forwards. Yeah, I can't do math.
Hashtag Heed to forward.
Heed to forward. Hashtag Heed to forward. Yeah, so obviously that's going to have to get addressed. I think you're going to have to... I would call Noah Gregor. I don't really feel like Noah Gregor did anything to earn himself out of the lineup.
Yeah. David Itch mentioning thoughts on Suomela tonight. Certainly seems like he's playing not to get sent back down anytime soon. But I'm sorry. Did he even get to play in the third period?
You know what? I'll say this about Suomela, and I'll say the same thing for Dell. These were guys that definitely like they were playing for they're playing for jobs. Like I think Dell knows
Right.
that, he really couldn't afford another stinker.
No.
He hadn't played in what, 3 weeks. I mean, I personally would have probably sat him until Los Angeles. Obviously, I'm an idiot because the Sharks won tonight and Dell was great. But I mean, yeah, like you can definitely see guys starting to play for jobs a little bit, and I think Aaron Dell was doing that. And I thought, from what I saw of Suomela, I liked a lot of what I think. I think it was a tight game. Suomela can be a little bit of an adventure defensively, and so am I shocked that Peter DeBoer sat him in such a tight game? Not really.
No.
Do I like it? No, but I get it.
Boys, we evidently have some video coming in on Gerard Gallant's response to the 3 stars selected tonight.
Oh, let's take a look. I mean, of course he would be. I mean, I'm sure he was happy like everybody else in Vegas. Hard fought one there, right? Hard fought, good effort. All
the right size.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I want to see Suomela get played more. Back on the Suomela, like, my God. I mean, when I saw this, when I saw what they were gonna ice tonight, like, I'm like, holy crap! Like, Peter DeBoer just apparently wants to lose his job. Like, I think that was my tweet this morning. Again, what do I know?
Right. Just seemed like 6 minutes. No, really. Some people are saying, some were saying true. I mean, I know Kevin was mentioning in the chat. So let me see here. Let's move on.
Yeah.
9-12, San Jose gets called for hella dudes on a frozen pond. Thank you, Shalina Goldberg. Goldman. Sorry, I was watching the Goldbergs before the game. Sorry, Shalina. All right. Vegas doesn't do anything there. The Golden Knights would then get a penalty later in the period. Marc-Andre Fleury tripping up Marcus Sorensen after some great momentum there. They didn't score anything, but Sorensen, with Jumbo, and Jumbo seemed like he was into
washed.
it tonight.
Yeah, he still looks washed. I hate I hate that I'm saying this, but like it's far enough into the season now where I'm legit concerned about Jumbo. Because this
is like one of his longest schneid's in quite some time, if I'm not mistaken.
And you know what? Like one thing with Jumbo is like the way, Jumbo used to I feel like Jumbo used to have a more powerful stride, and I thought like he had to skate a little harder to cover a distance that he normally would have covered in like 3 strides. He took like 4 or 5. Like it's painful to watch, and it hurts my heart.
Yeah, and it's yeah. After 2 periods, 28-17 in favor of Vegas on the shot total. Face-off still about the same, but slight edge to Vegas, 53-47. Both teams going 0-4 on the power play. Third period, at 3:12. Oh, Skylar mentioning in the chat, it's Dell's save percentage 897. I mean,
not tonight.
Not tonight, but I mean, it's getting better.
Overall,
right?
Yeah. Look at, I mean, neither goalie's been neither goalie's been good enough. But, I thought Aaron Dell, to his credit, and I know I kind of didn't, give him enough credit for that game he played in Montreal. I thought he played a really good game in Montreal, and this game was definitely a solid outing for him. But like I know there was questions about, okay, well, now does Dell just play them out? I don't know. Like, I'm not like, I'll give him credit. He had a great game, but do I think there's a goaltending controversy, or even close to a goaltending controversy? No, I think they're both still terrible.
Yeah.
Overall.
It's going to be tough there. Aaron Dell with a comment on Logan's OT winner. I was already on the way up when I saw Couture with the breakaway. I knew he was putting that one away. That's great confidence. Just stay in your crease just in case, all right?
Dude, that's Major League right there. It's a nice
Absolutely.
catch. Don't ever fucking do it again.
To which we would say for Christian Ehrhoff, just a bit outside. Ian, back to you.
There's talk of Jamie McGinn being let go of his PTO. The Sharks have enough guys. Jamie McGinn is a guy. The Sharks have enough guys.
Right. They develop those guys because Roy Slammer develops just guys.
They have enough guys. They need hella dudes. Trademark.
Yeah, but I mean, like, Jamie McGinn couldn't, like, this is the one thing that drives me just absolutely batty about this fan base, is it always wants to bring back all these guys that just, and look at it, Jamie McGinn's a guy. He hasn't really done anything since he's left San Jose. Like, I don't understand. Like, he's not, this isn't a player who's going to be remotely, there's guy and there's not a big cavern between them. Like, Jamie McGinn would be another guy in a sea of guys. He's going to be another guy that's just going to get lost in the shuffle with the Riddles and the Melker Karlssons and those type of players. Like, players don't stick on NHL contracts for a reason. They don't need to come back because they didn't work out somewhere else.
Yeah. And Sleepy Mofo dude versus guy. Kevin Lacey, Jamie McGinn's spine is spaghetti at this point. Does Dell get the secondary assist on Couture's OT? Officially, no. The only assist would go to Vlasic at 3:40 of overtime. On that one, just to kind of just go over things in the third really quick before we get to the Couture goal. Couture had a pass attempt or follow through, and it went through Nate Schmidt. Of course, there were fans that were upset with that one. Even Randy was mentioning they threw some stuff on the ice. Mind you, Dan O'Halloran was calling this game tonight. Of course, Dan O'Halloran was one of the guys that
he was the
officiated
guy.
Game 7. He was the guy that refereed Game 7 for that one. 4 minutes in, Vlasic misses the pass to Pacioretty. He goes in. I'll give credit to EK65. He had a nice play there to stop Smith from having a golden chance on burying an open net up front. I know the criticism will be there and still will be there. But EK65 doing it all right tonight.
Yeah.
All right. Pashelka is saying the Sharks' dads were in the locker room right after the game when someone asked if anyone wanted a beer. It was officially safest bet of all time in this town. I think I saw up in the chat earlier tonight. Are they going into the gentleman's club after the game? No, and definitely not the Cosmopolitan. That's for darn sure.
Yeah.
Dylan would have an interference call where
Oh my God.
where AJ put it to I whip my hair back and forth. Was that interference? Maybe, but man, he dressed that up nicely.
Yeah, there was a lot of that. I mean, Marc-Andre Fleury is
Dive.
Yeah.
Dive.
Exactly. Like Marc-Andre Fleury really tried to sell a lot too. Like he was gonna get that. Like I said, you play the odds. You're gonna get that call if you push someone into your goalie. But like there was where he like spun like a top, and it was I look at Marc-Andre Fleury. When he's done playing hockey, if this hockey thing doesn't work out for him, he can do ballet, or he could probably do like some amateur diving.
And if not that, practical joker.
Yes, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I actually like Marc-Andre Fleury, but man, like there was just some really just really bad embellishments in this game.
Yeah.
Aren't
Like
you a little
they were
surprised?
Mike Smith level embellishments in this game because Mike Smith
boy.
is the best
Hashtag,
goalie in the league.
hashtag first star tonight.
Yes. But yeah, he oh man. Yeah, he was on tonight.
Oh man. 9:42. Brady McNabb would find an open spot where he would tie the game up from Carrier. That was 1-1. We go into overtime. I tweeted this out, Ian. But wow, that's probably the most craziest first minute of overtime I've seen since they've gone to the 3-on-3 format. I mean, that was like up there with, what was it, North America and Sweden in the World Cup a few years ago.
Yeah, it was some, I mean, it was some fun hockey. I mean, obviously it ended the way we wanted to, but just I mean, I would have, you make that in like a neutral game of two teams I don't care about, and I am not taking my eyes off that.
Looking at some of the comments in there, hot take hockey. Are you guys confident this roster can finish with the division spot, or moves have to happen to finish in the playoffs in general? Yeah. VGK coverage, of course, one of our favorite Golden Knights fans. Good game to you, sir. That was a crazy game indeed on that one. But 340, Logan Couture gets a breakaway. He buries it. His fourth of the season. Boy, howdy, did he need that one. Vlasic with the lone assist, although I think you should give one to Dell as well. Sharks win this one. Dell coming in tonight, 8-2 in his last 18 starts. The first time the Sharks Knights had a no goal first period. Apparently, according to the broadcast, Erik Karlsson was the Sharks shot blocking leader tonight. Okay, wow. Vegas hasn't won.
I thought that pair was really good. Like the Vlasic Karlsson pair, I thought was pretty good tonight. I thought they both played their part. There was that one play where Erik Karlsson kind of got the last touch before that puck kind of goes to the side of the net. I thought they also did a really, really good job of, and this is what they do really well, is they did a good job of getting the puck out.
Yeah. I thought they played a defensively sound game. Big character win for us. A lot of things stacked against us with some of the injuries, the lineup, and obviously coming into this building and what happened the last couple of times. We've been in here. I thought our guys dug deep and got good contributions from everybody.
Yeah, like this is a good, like, again, like going back to what I said earlier, like this is a good character win, right? Like this wasn't, yes, Logan Couture gets the big goal at the end, but without the contributions, without the play of some of your, some of the guys that had to step up to fill voids, which has been a theme for the Sharks all season, I think. But if you don't get that tonight, you don't win.
Yeah. And a great solid win. We spent the last half hour or so talking about essentially a 2-1 victory, and there was a lot of it. Very entertaining tonight in the Vegas Strip. The shots, to sum it all up, shots 38-29 in favor of the Golden Knights. The Knights had a slight edge, 53-47 in the faceoff circle. Both teams were 0 for on the power play, 0 for 2 for the Sharks, 0 for 3 for Vegas. Hits, somebody must have broke the hit counter after like one period. It's only showing 39-35.
Officially, the hit counter went to Cheetahs during the second intermission.
Okay, that makes sense.
Some of there's always kind of been there's stories, like if you go back into the history of the game, there's always been like shenanigans with the hit counter, and Vegas definitely does shenanigans with the hit counter.
Yeah. Blocks 19-12 in favor of San Jose, 11-10 in favor for Vegas for giveaways.
Let me ask you a question.
Your three.
Sure.
Okay.
Before we do 3 stars, let me ask you a question. No Tomas Hertl.
Mm-hmm.
Dell gets the start. Goodrow centering the second line. During the game, Šimek and Melker are injured. Are you insanely thrilled about a win tonight? Because I walked into this going 6-1 loss.
And we mentioned that before, full AOL occurred, but
Right.
Ian, I mean, we were expecting annihilation.
Oh man, like I was like trying to come up with like witty things to say that would just make people angry with me. Like I was ready to come in here and be like hard facts and tell you, like if you want someone to kiss your head and tell you everything's going to be okay, then you're watching the wrong show. But thankfully that didn't happen.
Yeah, VGK coverage. I know you've had a tough go. Now you're on graveyard shifts, but great game all around. One of the nicest regular season games there. John with a super chat donation, two for 2 or fewer, and Dell. Thank you very much, John. Appreciate that as always. So, overall, I mean, 3 stars of the game. Your number 1 star, of course, the game-winning goal, Logan Couture, Braden McNabb with the lone Vegas goal, and then, of course, for concussing somebody, Ryan Reeves. Let's take a look at Ryan Reeves tonight. He played 10 minutes and 38 seconds. He was a +1 because he was on the ice when his team scored the goal. He had 1 shot on goal and had 12 hits and blocked 1 shot. And apparently, 100% in the faceoff circle. So for you, that's enough to be a 3rd star.
Oh, good for you.
Again, it's an amazing troll job because it's just it's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. Like it's just like the NHL tweeting out the thing about, oh, imagine skating out of this stupid helmet. Like, yeah, but you know what? You guys took it hook, line, and sinker. Like they win. Because that's all it's about. It's about getting engagements, and they know that Sharks fans are thin-skinned enough that they would lose their bloody minds, and look where we are. It's this, and this is the same thing. This is so people can just be mad about it, which I thought it was hysterical, but I understand why people are going to be upset about it and be like, "Oh, those guys are just the friggin' worst." They win.
But I love the one that Sharky put out earlier today, that they stole from Rome, Paris, all over the place, and then stole from San Jose. So
yeah, there you go.
Fanatical Teal Bleeder. I'm almost surprised he didn't give Jones a star. LOL.
Oh, that would be a better troll job. But I mean, like Ryan Reeves, I mean, he's the guy that gets under skin. But I thought really, and this is a point that I've made 100 times, and I'm going to make it again. Okay. The reason the Sharks turned that series around last year was because they stopped playing into Reeves' antics. Like you look at what happened at the start of that series, you had even Joe Thornton chasing Ryan Reeves around. The second they stopped playing into his antics, the Sharks won. And guess what? Tonight, they punched Kane for, they did a bunch of stuff. Right. I'm going to keep this PG. They did a bunch of stuff to try and get Kane off of his game, to try and get the Sharks going, and the Sharks didn't bite. And this is why you don't need Michael Haley in the lineup. Yep. You just play hockey and you beat them on the scoreboard.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more, Mr. Reid. Completely. And that's what it's going to take. And Sharks get their 11th victory of the season. They're back to NHL 500 mark at 11-11-1. Ironically, they have the same amount of wins as the Golden Knights. Golden Knights have just gotten the loser point 3 more times than the Sharks. So with that, is it time, Ian?
It's time.
It's time.
Have the goddamn common courtesy to give them a reach around.
It's wrap around. Wow. All right. In Beantown, the Boston Bruins off of 2 Marchand goals and a Pasternak goal win 3-2 over the Buffalo Sabres. Buffalo just is on a good run, but the Bruins are on a better run at this point. In Florida tonight, would you believe the Ducks blew a 4-0 lead? They had a 4-0 lead when Andre Kasha made it 4-0 at 18:39 in the second period. Then Connolly gets 2 in a matter of 27 seconds for the Panthers to go into 4-2 after 2 periods. The Panthers score 2, and then Aaron Ekblad gets his second of the game for the victory. 5-4 the final. Panthers over the Ducks in that one. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. In Brooklyn, Brock Nelson with his second consecutive OT winner does it.
Former Sharks alert.
Thomas Grice with the victory there as they beat the Pittsburgh Penguins 4-3 in that one. The Islanders are the Sharks' next opponent. Get your tickets now at SJSharks.com. In Carolina, there was still no storm surge tonight. They lose 5-3 to the Philadelphia Flyers. Claude Giroux with a couple of goals there. Sebastian Yermamsa-Ho with the 11th of the season. Teravainen kind of tearing up with his 6th goal. Apparently, he'll probably get the next tryout call from the Vancouver Warriors on that when he's out of a job. In Columbus, a 3-goal third period by the Blue Jackets make it 5-4 victory. On this one, Rockets' least favorite Red Wing, Tyler Bertuzzi, gets 2 goals in a losing cause. In St. Louis, did you check out the snazzy jerseys they were wearing tonight, Ian?
Those are the worst jerseys in the history of hockey.
They broke them out. I guess it was the 25th anniversary of them or something. And apparently they worked. 5-0. They beat the Flames. AJ, you said, what was it, 200 or 386 minutes without them having a lead? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's something ridiculous like that. I have to imagine with the way things are with Babcock being on the market, Bill Peters' seat's got to be getting pretty hot there, because this team is like, I think they've messed with this team a little too much. Like, I think they've been over tweaked, but they're still better than this.
Yeah, we all thought Calgary was going to be making a run as well. Hockey Mom, Landy's mom, thank you very much for your super chat donation. Appreciate it immensely. Aaron Dell made 37 saves tonight for his 10th career game with 35 plus saves. Has a 6-2-2 record in those games, including 8 games on the road. That's pretty impressive, Ian.
Yeah, like, again, Aaron Dell, I'm not going to take anything away from his game tonight. He played a hell of a game tonight. I just, am I comfortable like that this would, be a thing going forward? I'm not sure. I need to be proven. Like, the goaltending needs to show me at this point.
I completely concur. In Nashville, the Vancouver Canucks had 6 different goal scorers en route to a 6-3 victory over the Nashville Predators. The Canucks continue to stay strong. They're at 26 points on the campaign.
Former Sharks alert.
Former Shark Alex Stalock gets the victory for the Minnesota Wild. They are on a 4-game point streak, beating the Avalanche 3-2. Cale Makar with 2 more goals. Apparently he's on, pace with Bobby Orr. I mean, gee, if we only had some commentator that didn't make any comments that really liked Bobby Orr. I don't know.
Pierre's still out there.
Oh, yeah, it's Pierre McGuire, of course. He probably knows which middle school washing machine Cale Makar shot pucks into. So, in Chicago, the Lightning beat up on the Blackhawks 4-2. In that one, Curtis McElhaney, former Leaf, gets the victory in that one. Braden Point, his 5th of the season, in a winning cause. In Big D, Winnipeg doesn't get a win. 5-3 the final there. You got Jamie Benn with his 5th, Tyler Seguin his 6th, Patrick Laine also getting his 6th in a losing cause. I guess you could say hella, Buck. Kind of hella sucked. The Jets are at 13-9-1. The Stars are at 13-8-2 on that. Thank you. Maple Leafs
Whoa,
win.
whoa. Okay, wait a second here.
What?
Okay, what's wrong with her? Let's not like Alex Stalock won a game. Let's not pretend Alex Stalock is Jacques Plante upon leaving San Jose.
No, we're not saying
Thomas.
that. But look at his numbers. That's been the odd thing about Alex Stalock, particularly this season.
But
Yeah, I know. But we're just talking about
uh,
this season. It's like the dude has played like 12 games, and he's either posting like an 886 or a 986. It's been ridiculous.
I don't know.
Moving on.
Moving on.
In the desert, the Arizona Coyotes lose to the Toronto Maple Leafs 3-1 in the coaching debut of Sheldon Keefe behind the bench for the Leafs. San Ramon native Austin Matthews with his 15th. Tyson Barrie finally gets his first goal as a Leaf. We'll kind of discuss this really quick here, Ian. Your thoughts about Mike Babcock being fired, and for that matter.
Oh, sorry. Was my mic on?
Yeah, your mic's on.
Yeah, your mic's on. But you kind of seem familiar because Kyle Dubas brought in Sheldon Keefe in the Sioux. What can you share about Keefe doing his thing as he progressively worked his way up? With
Sheldon
no
Keefe
NHL coaching experience.
Yeah, I mean, Sheldon Keefe has so far won pretty much everywhere he's gone. When he was brought in, when the Greyhounds had a good roster when he was brought in, because Kyle Dubas had already kind of put the pieces together, kind of set them up for a little bit. When Sheldon Keefe came on, like they turned around, like they were relevant. This kind of led a little bit after Keefe's departure, even, but they were. I mean, the Greyhounds were relevant on a national level for the first time since the early 90s when they went to 3 straight Memorial Cups, finally winning the last one. Like they hadn't really been relevant for a while, and a big part of that was the kind of the pieces that Kyle Dubas put in place, plus bringing in Sheldon Keefe, who Sheldon Keefe was a guy that had kind of been blackballed because of his days as a player. You'd have to go back and Google the Brampton boys. There's, he kind of been blackballed. So he was coaching, I think, like junior A or something, and no one really wanted to give him a shot. And then Dubas brought him into the Sioux, and then obviously when he got hired in Toronto as the GM, or as a part of that GM brain trust when it first started, he hired Sheldon Keefe to coach the Marlies, which won a Calder Cup. Now, I will say that Marlies team was pretty stacked.
Right.
And that does need to be said. But Sheldon Keefe's he's a really, I really like him. Like it was a night and day change when he came over and coached the Hounds, like things that I saw with my own eyes.
Right.
He seems to be really respected by his players, which obviously everyone's respected by their players at the start, and eventually the voice gets old. But
Ian.
yes.
What does Mike Commodore think about you?
Oh, damn.
Oh my God. Here we go. Yeah, here's the thing. But if you look at, like, I know when whenever Peter DeBoer would come up, like, and would be like, well, who are you going to replace him with? And my first response was always Sheldon Keefe.
Yeah.
If you saw the, like, when the Babcock firing happened, our friends over at Let's Go Blues Radio, when they were going through a coaching change, Sheldon Keefe was the guy that they wanted to come in to coach the Blues. So this guy's a name that's kind of been out there for a while now, like after he got his kind of a break and he was no longer kind of blackballed from the community. This was a guy that a lot of people thought was going to be the next big coach. So will that happen? I mean, he has a ton of tools in Toronto that you would hope to God he can use. Plus, he has a lot of those players that he already coached on the Marlies. So
it's not nice to refer to Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner as tools, but go ahead.
Yeah, well, fair enough. So yeah, I don't know. I as far as Mike Babcock goes, I know when he got fired, a lot of people like San Jose, and I'm like, God, please no.
We have
I
good
feel
players,
like
and we'll be bringing players over, and I always coach Marlowe a few times, and then there we go.
I feel like like Babcock would be a lot of like, I think, look at the vets on this team, like the Joe Thorntons, the Patrick Marleaus, they love him. And I feel like you might get something a little bit more out of them to start. But I feel like, this would become more of the same. If you look at Toronto, if you look at like Leafs Twitter, which unfortunately I follow a lot of, you'll see like there's a lot of similar problems that they're having that are the same things that we would complain about, just really stupid people on the ice in situations that they shouldn't be. Ideally, you're talking Melker Karlsson, like this is like playing Melker Karlsson at the end of a game when you need a goal instead of Timo Meier, like just stupid stuff like that. Now, Babcock did have a good record in Toronto, and Toronto media has been really like something like the Damien Coxes of the world have been really, salty about Babcock getting fired. They seem to talk about how Toronto got better under Babcock, but they don't want to mention that, yeah, they also, got this Austin Matthews guy and this Mitch Marner guy and this, all these guys that they hate now because they took too much money. But, the Willie Nylanders, like, oh, that had nothing to do with it. It was all Babcock. Give me a break.
Yeah, I mean, you also have to look at all those things. And here's the thing, too. When's the last time Babcock got his coached team out of the first round?
Yeah.
I think we're going back to when the Red Wings were in the Western Conference. And even then they were having a tough time the last couple of years before then.
I feel like Babcock would be okay in the right situation. Like I'm not saying like Babcock's the reason Toronto didn't get over the hump, but I just, I think like anything else, a coach has a shelf life.
Yep.
And I just feel like, with Toronto playing the way they were, and again, look at this was Brendan Shanahan's hire. This wasn't Kyle Dubas's hire. So Dubas had his guy waiting on the Marlies. It was only a matter of time. Like Babcock, you're hired to get fired. Like when you have a guy like that and, a new GM takes over and he has his coach in the AHL, this stuff's going to happen.
Yeah. And I think the writing was on the wall for Sheldon Keefe to come in. I can't see him happening. I think that was Dubas's guy. I think he saw that coming. I mean,
yeah, I think the writing was on the wall. It wasn't a matter of if Sheldon Keefe was going to take over. It was a matter of when.
Right. And he's got his chance. He's got his first victory with the Leafs. Steve Dangle will be ecstatic tomorrow on his channel. One more final to talk about. The Kings beat the Oilers 5-1. Jonathan Quick remembered how to save pucks. However, Connor McDavid gets his 16th of the season in a losing cause. So that is it for your wraparound.
They didn't look good. Like I was kind of like, I had that game in a little box, and man, it looked terrible that game.
Well, I'm glad the Sharks were able to help them get things out. Oh, hi, AJ. A couple mentions here on Friday night. The San Jose Barracuda have their Teddy Bear Toss game. So get your tickets for that one. That was always a fun one. Bring your stuffed animals. They go to a good cause. So definitely check that out at sjbarracuda.com. San Jose State takes on Stanford late night tomorrow night as well. So check that out as well. I am Matt, or AYA Matt. Good evening to you. Thank you for joining us. I would ask if Marco Sturm would be willing to interview after the season is over. Got to get permission from LA on that one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. This team, like, this was a good win tonight, and I don't want to diminish the goodness of this win and how big of a win this was for this team. But this team is not out of the woods yet. But I think it's probably, I don't know.
Yeah. So that brings you up to date in the NHL. The Sharks have 23 points. They're slowly climbing up the standings as we speak. So should be an interesting one as the Sharks go up against one of the hottest teams in the NHL, the New York Islanders. No fish sticks. They apparently don't need John Tavares. They're doing just fine, thank you very much. They've won 5 in a row. They're 9-0-1 in their last 10. They're like on, 16, 17 games that they haven't lost a regulation game in.
Or yeah, I mean it's gonna be a tough game, and I think it's gonna be a more interesting game because I think for the Sharks, maybe this was for everything that went wrong this game, this was probably the perfect opponent for that because they were gonna get up to play the Golden Knights. A little more nervous about the team from the East that they don't really see. There's not a lot of hate there. And obviously, we don't know who's going to dress for the next game. It's definitely something like I wouldn't take this next game lightly. It's going to be a tough one. Like I feel like streaks are meant to be broken, but I hope that the Sharks can get up for that game like they got up for today's, and it's going to be more difficult because there's not a lot of hate between them and the Islanders for obvious reasons.
And for that matter, Ian, it's a matter of who's going to be healthy for that game too. You might have no Hurdle, no Melker Karlsson, no Radim Shimmick. Is Luka Schradil going to be able to escape the PDB doghouse? A lot of questions.
Figure out a way to spin it. Tavares used to be on this team. If it wasn't for that asshole, we wouldn't have Erik Karlsson. There you go.
And we wouldn't have any defensive problems whatsoever and wouldn't have any scoring problems whatsoever. So with that, that's on Saturday night, so be on the lookout for that. Ian, thank you very much. I know it is very late. We're getting a comment from Mr. Kevin Lacey. Last season's Isle Sharks game in San Jose, the entire line of Martin, Cizikas, and Clutterbutt were given game misconducts. The Sharks won 4-0.
Oh, there you go. Maybe they'll find some hate.
Yes, definitely. So, Ian, thank you very much, good sir. We will. That's right. We have that coming up. That's not the right graphic, AJ. It's not this Sunday.
Dun, dun, dun.
It's in the Dropbox. That AJ killed the graphic. It's not this Sunday, but coming up next Saturday, November 30th at 5 p.m., it is Sharks and Desert Dogs, and we'll be taking over Stuffed Pizza and IBU Tap Room in Milpitas. We'll get you some more info on Teal Town USA and the social media channels we do. So do us a favor, follow on all those, whether it's Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, you name it, YouTube. We'll be mentioning that as well. So make sure you get on that right away. So that's Saturday, November 30th at 5 p.m. At Stuffed Pizza and IBU Tap Room in Milpitas. We'll be looking for you there for Sharks and Desert Dogs. Oh, excuse us.
I'm out of drink.
Yeah.
We had to do this twice, so I ran out.
Ian, thank you very much for putting up with me tonight.
Yeah,
your final thoughts and where the people can find you.
My final thoughts is the first star of this game is actually Evander Kane for not selfishly killing the Sharks in this game, despite everything that Vegas did to try and get him going. If someone skated by me and punched me in the face, I'm probably killing them. So kudos to that man for taking the high road and, letting the Sharks win a game and look really good doing it. So that's my first star. If Ryan Reeves can be third star, Evander Kane can be my first star, damn it.
And you can follow him at Ian Blogs Hockey.
Yes, on the Twitter machine. You can find me apparently just being hysterical about the Sharks and just a hysterical talking head now. This is my lot in life, and I've accepted it.
Well, we appreciate it immensely. I'm at PuckGuy14 on the Twitter and the Instagram. In case you missed anything, you want to watch this again, check us out on tealtownusa.com or your favorite podcatcher, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, TuneIn, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spotify, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, you name it, you love it. Just look for us on there. We'll be back with you in some form on Saturday night, where the Sharks will take on the New York Islanders. That's a 7:30 start in San Jose. We'll be on after that and bringing all kinds of special content with you. Be on the lookout for interviews and such coming on. So with that, we are out of here. We appreciate you. Follow us on our social media. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Find everything at tealtownusa.com. And until then, well, there you go. YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Reddit, and audio only.
All the places.
All of them. So, all right. With that, let's get out of here. And until Saturday night,